on video. All right, let me check whether we're on YouTube. Video? We are on YouTube. So, okay, sorry about that technical difficulty. Welcome, everyone. And I will still recording. Check whether we Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for your patience. Yes, and we had a little bit of technical difficulty to come on YouTube, but everything has been sorted. Thank for our welcome for your patience. Thanks for our. I've had what's the word? I'm run out of word. Anyway, our technical guru, Dr. Derek, that has sorted it out. Welcome everyone. We don't want to waste a lot of time. Dr. D, if you can play our song, that's great. If not, we'll see what we can do. I know you kind of on the road, but welcome everyone. The welcome today is a little bit different because you know I'm not the expert. Our welcome.
Thank
Bear with me. It's all
with you. We're bearing with you. Thank you, Dr. Fisher.
coming from the place of love.
Exactly.
Here on our Dream Team webinar to educate ourselves. So before we start, we're going to play our signature tune, and I'll pass it over to the moderators. Over to you, Dr. D, if you're able to play that. If not, let us know. So the 5 minutes. If not, we'll do something different today. Dr. D, are you able to play our signature tune? Nay or yay? Okay.
I'm trying to get this one done. Then I go.
Can you share some, please? Can you hear this song?
We are on passive, shining bright into the future. We rise high with one heart and revolute. miss you.
Maybe
With
to my
one
end.
love,
Okay.
with
Welcome,
one
welcome
hope,
everyone.
bringing
Sorry about that. I see
solution,
the song is
lifting up
over.
humanity. Let's rise high, standing tall, hand in hand. We are the unicorn. We are the stars. In it to win it. In it to win it. To win it. In it to win it. In it to win it. 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 Standing tall. We are the unicorn. We are the stars. Standing strong and tall. We are the unicorn. We are the
Patience, is there a sound or is it just me? There's no sound, sis. Is it on?
The sound is on YouTube, but I can hear on Zoom, so I don't know.
The next stop
Thank you. I'll just
is
put them in.
on passive.
For some reason,
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
It's okay. You can't do anything about that, so thank you. Sorry. Mm.
uh, all right. Yes. So we'll move on. Thank you. And on YouTube, we could hear the sound of the music. For some reason, us in the Zoom couldn't hear it.
Okay. All
As
right.
I've said, Dr. D is traveling. Maybe it doesn't have multiple. Okay, Dr. Diaz, and so we're going to move to our next part of our agenda, which I'm going to call Queen Kanla. That will start the moderating, and we'll take it from there. So, Dr. D, if you can stop sharing, that would be good. Over to you, Queen Kanla.
Wonderful. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, wherever you're joining the Dream Team webinar today on this wonderful, lovely summer Sunday. You are welcome. We are always excited and honored to have you join us on Sundays. We appreciate you, we value your time, and above all, we love you for every minute you spend together with us because you could have been somewhere. For our family and everyone watching on YouTube, we know that you are there Thank you as well for always joining on YouTube. And for all the leaders who make this platform work, beginning with our host, who is none other than Dr. Pat and Dr. John. You make it possible every week. We thank you and we appreciate you. To all the team leaders, whether you are at the front where we see you often or you are in the background, we know that you are there. We appreciate you. We see you. And we say thank you because it is together as a team that this platform is up and going, unstoppable. 500 webinar award. At this time, I will be coordinating. I know Queen Debbie will be joining soon, running behind, but let us go right into our first webinar item for today or agenda, which is usually the word, our mindset for today. We need it. It is what keeps all of us rooted and looking forward to the next webinar, whether it's within the week or you only come back on Sundays. And our queen and sister, who is no stranger to us, Queen Lerato, is here today. Yes, sis, we miss you. I know you've been busy and away. We miss you. And hey, I can tell you our Queen Yvonne has been also doing a fabulous job keeping us when you are not here. So always when you show up or when you are there, we are as equally excited as when she does it. So welcome, good to see you, and thank you for the gift you've gifted us with your angelic voice that we all listen to, leading us now to the mindset. Over to you, sis.
Hi, sis. It's so good to be here and to see everybody. Oh my God. I'm really excited to be here. Today was very hectic. I just came back from, one of my trips and it was just hectic like it is every time. But just being here is just a gift. It's beautiful to be here. And so thank you so much. And so I just want to say hello to everybody. And before I say hello to everybody and complete the hello, I want to say thank God to be here. I thank God to be here. Dr. Benny always says that we are not here because of our own wisdom and our know-how, but there's a power that gives us life, and it's good to acknowledge God. And for us who believe, we say we are not here by ourselves, by our own power. We know that there's a creator that created us and that gives us life and supplies us with that life. Is our life force. So to give thanks is it's everything to us. So I'm excited to be here. And I know that when I left, we were talking about so many things. And one of those things was joy. Remember, we were talking about joy, how to find our own joy, our own happiness, because we are worth it. And finding our life, there's somebody that I was listening to, they were talking about life and they were saying, life can be very short, but it can also be very long, depending on the things that you choose to anchor your life on. Right? If you choose just being to be like busy and helter-skelter and fearful and everything, those things can steal life very fast. Have you ever seen people who are always in constant stress and constant, just everything is just around their lives? Those things steal joy, and they steal your peace, and they steal years out of your life, and they steal everything that is good out of your life. So finding joy and finding, all these beautiful things that add good quality to your life, that adds good quality to your life, it's worth it because you're worth it. And, cultivating these things and being intentional about finding things that will add good quality to our life is worth it, so that our life will be worth it, so that we can live powerfully. Right? Because when we are anchored in all these qualities that add value to life, then we also give value. We give value. Right? I've never seen value come from somebody who's all over the place, angry, la, la, la. Who those people, I said it last time, that The people that you meet, they're always upset, angry. They're angry with everything. Just nothing is good to them. Those people don't give. They don't give quality. They don't give back good. That the energy that they exude is the energy that consumes. I said the last time, the people that you will spend time with, and when you're done with them, you are so tired. Have you ever been in a place where you feel like you want to take a shower or you want to just wash or do something, cleanse yourself when you leave that place because the energy was so heavy? It was so negative and so heavy, right? Because energy is real. I always tell people, like, energy is real, people. So what we surround our lives with and what we choose to dwell in, or what we choose to welcome in our lives, we have to be very intentional. I have friends that I was talking to, they'll tell you, it's like, we intentionally not choose to not that we don't like certain people, but we don't choose to spend a lot of time with, that they keep life out of you. I said it the last time that sometimes we don't have choices. We have to meet with some, family members or whatever. You go to events where you have to show up, but you know that those things, they steal your energy. So you have to limit your time with those things. You say, fine, I'll show up, but I'm not going to give it everything. I have to reserve something for myself to talk about that. This is something that I wanted us to talk about in the upcoming weeks. Just stillness, the power in the stillness, just being still, and power in knowing. And for me, like, I always say when I come here, guys, I'm not an expert of any kind, but I come to share. So and I will, put certain things that are based in my faith, and you can just take it. The ones that you can take, just take it and digest them. The ones that you want to throw away, throw them away. But I'll be talking from what I know. And there's power in stillness, and there's power in knowing. Then there's power in peace, right? And this reminds me of an incident in the Bible that talks about Christ when he was in the sea, and the words that echoed was "Peace be still." In the middle of chaos, when everybody was responding with fear, when everybody was responding with, just utter disarray, he responded with calmness and responded with peace. He didn't respond to chaos with chaos. He didn't respond to chaos with chaos. And this is what we have to observe there. And we have to ask ourselves, how do we respond to what life gives us sometimes? Life presents itself in many forms and in many ways, but what counts is not what the thing that happens. Yes, the thing happens, but how we respond to it is very powerful. And so how we respond to chaos, we cannot respond to chaos with chaos, right? So that's why I thought this topic is very important, because there's so much happening in the world, guys. You watch the news, you watch everything around us. It seems like it's just the world is in constant state of chaos, right? You watch everything, like with us now. We're here. There's so much happening with our hope, with our dreams, with everything, with on passive. I mean, we're here, right? I remember I remember the last time we said that we choose to be here because we know this is what we chose. And we believe and we have faith in this choice, and we have faith in this, and that's why we're here. That's why we show up every time. And but in the middle of everything that is happening, I remember when in the heat of the chaos that was happening with our company and everything, how we responded is very powerful. So that's why I'm like, for all of us that are here, I want us to congratulate ourselves, because it's not easy to believe in the middle of chaos and you know t- chaos and disarray and everything. I mean, there were many things, and I say chaos because there were so many things that were happening online. You would go online and comments and different things that are happening for us that go online and check certain things out. There was so much happening, so much negativity, so much things happening, people saying this and that. And just being peaceful and being still, and having that inner knowledge and just sitting in it and anchoring yourself in peace and in stillness in those moments where everything is crazy around you is very, 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 very important. Yes, Alan. Yes, Alan. I hear you.
Recording in
looking forward
progress.
to, which is IT 101 Part 4 by our king and brother, Shaggy. Unfortunately, he has an emergency, and so he is not going to be with us today. But let us not worry, because it simply means we will move this presentation forward to a future date. But in the meantime, we have Dr. John Ajongwen, who we are honored to join us and do a presentation for us today. And of course, how excited is that? From IT 101, I'm sure everyone is already thinking and excited. Yeah, so we are heading into another financial presentation, another financial awareness. And what a wonderful time to be reminded of those things that we need to do in terms of being prepared, what we have to put in place as we continue to wait for the next step in our unpassive business. And so, I mean, thank you so much, Dr. John, for filling in. Thank you for your skills. Thank you for the work you do behind in educating us with that wealth of knowledge. We truly appreciate you. At this time, I would like to call on Dr. John Ajongwen. Over to you.
Wow, good afternoon. Thank you, Queen Kanla. I was just listening to our Queen Sister Lerato, and I'm sitting here saying, like, can I choose peace at this moment? And I just rushed in, and when Brashagi said, oh, he has an emergency, you know, our natural instinct is to panic, you know, and then somebody sort of just comes in and say, oh, just have peace. And I'm like, are you serious, Sister Lerato? No, in the middle of chaos, you know. I mean, I think Queen Kanla would attest to this, that in life, you know, there are two types of responses, natural responses to a change. You know, one is called a positive response and another is a negative response. They're not positive or negative in the sense that they do any good, but it's just our immediate reaction. And you know, many of us, we are wired to get with that negative reaction instantly. And when something happens, everybody like, oh my God, why me? Why could, you know, like, and all those questions. And once you get to that point, you know, it's change management 101. You see somebody starts, you know, screaming, they start melting down, they start crying, they start yelling, and they think that God has hated them, the stars have gone the wrong way. And in reality, if we just have what our sister talked to us, that we take that deep breath in that middle of chaos. And we said in church, what I was listening to a passage, they said, we all made as God creators. And then some of us, you know, when God gets in, when we get to know him, he makes us children of God. That at that point, you just need to turn around and say, I'm a child of God. And that once you can develop that peace, what happens is, even though you had just gone down into that emotional valley, those people with the negative emotions, they actually, if they can develop that peace, and actually they're the ones that are best at generating some real serious decisions that will actually propel them much, much higher in an emotional state, and they bring a lot of good results. And then you have some of us who are like, you know, we think that, you know, everything is good. I've seen that before, you know, and they call those positive people that really make some positive decisions and say the sun is going to shine tomorrow, don't worry about it. And some of those ones, they make those type of uninformed decisions, and then at the height of their elation, they face the reality, and they say, "Oh," and then at that point they can crash. So managing both sides of the negative and positive still requires that even when you are thinking that everything is nice and good, it is okay to also reflect and think. And Sister Lerato, thank you for bringing that to us this afternoon. And I just saw a bit of it being experienced. So um, I was just told like about 2 minutes to the start of the meeting when Brashagi called in and said there's a Mayday, which is good. We're here as a team. And I thought, okay, I got some old stuff that I can recycle. Some of you would be disappointed because you've heard some of it. Some of you will hear some of it for the first time. But for everybody, I just thought I would take liberty and then throw in some stuff that many of you haven't heard. What the heck? So I'm going to start. I'll share my screen and and I'm going to stop and start along the way and share other stuff. So I thought maybe we just talk about financial options through the ages. And you may ask me, what the heck does that mean? Basically, when we think about it, there are those of us who are on the first, still, well, none of us here is on the first, second steps of the ladder, which just take every step to be a decade. So first decade, second decade, third, many of us are 5+. Some 3 and others 4. And what I just wanted to talk about is that at some point in life, you know, uh, the financial people would make some suggestions that these are
Dr.
things
John, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Sister Patience, can you please take a look at the chat? I don't have any control over what's going on in there. Please take it. Sorry, Dr. John. I'm sorry
Okay.
about.
You should find a way to get that person out.
Yes, I don't know how to do that. So could
They
please.
come in with different names.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we say if you don't recognize the person, just don't.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
know.
we'll let some of our people down, but
But this is
uh, so what happens here is that as we go through the different points in life, we are faced with situations where we face a lot of financial insecurity, and we want to move to some sort of financial security and hopefully financial independence. And the financial insecurity is really where many of us are. And when we're there, it doesn't really matter what everyone else is saying. You cannot think past today, and it creates a lot of anxiety. It creates a lot of healthcare issues, and it makes life really difficult. So, because of all these insecurities, um, we actually experience what we call financial dream killers, and those dream killers could either be physical, we could be environmental, they are actually financial. Amazing that financial will be financial. And then some of them are personal. And so I'm hoping that as we've been going through this journey in our meetings here, as we've been going through the journey on our sister platforms like the deep dive, like those mindset dailies, uh, you know, empowering humanity, even some of them like when we get our sisters do it from the Singapore, we have been learning how to address some of these specific, what I'll call dream killers. So think about it, a physical dream killer might be the loss of a loved one. It could be a critical illness, it could be a disability. And guess what? Living too long itself is an issue. And so, you know, many of us at this point we're waiting to say, oh, I have worked all these years, it's time for me to relax. But then you sit down there and you say, okay, how many days do I have for retirement? How many months do I have? How many years do I have? And then you realize that some of us will probably live longer in retirement than we actually lived. And so what are some of those things that could actually hamper that peace and tranquility when we live long? And living too long sometimes becomes a burden, not only to ourselves, but to the other people around us. And then we get the environmental ones. Abra Shaggy just got hit with a life emergency. He was coming to somewhere, or you're driving somewhere and you think, okay, I've looked at the GPS. I know I'm going to get there exactly at 3 o'clock. And then, boom, the road is closed. Now you have to make some transitions. You have to make some detours. You may even have to turn back or cancel the journey. And then we got things like, there are those ones that we cannot control, like a job loss. There are those that we cannot control, like how the economy is going to affect us. Or, those of us in the United States, I think the number of ads that you see on TV about advertising, have you been injured? Have you been this? You got legal issues that could hit you. And some of them, you don't even see them coming until you got hit on the side. And then the financial ones are those ones that deal with the markets. Again, we cannot control. Some we can control. And there are some personal ones that we have to deal with. To me, I normally highlight the first one, I highlight the second one, which is the fear, and most importantly, the procrastination, that we keep saying, okay, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. And unfortunately, sometimes we also hit with life-changing things which could actually end up breaking up families, even when we have done our best to actually make sure that we heal those relationships, and those could actually kill some of our financial dreams. So some of the things that I've been involved with, we sort of walk people through what we call the steps to financial independence, if that is really a word by itself, but it's something that we can all aim for. And when we talk about that, I flipped it and say, okay, when we're talking about this journey, when do we want to talk about it? Where do we get it? How do we get it, and what? So the couple of W's, I think people talk about the 5 whys and all that good stuff, but I'm gonna do that. But so when we take a step back, I just want us to start thinking, because some of us here are parents, some of us are grandparents, and there are some decisions that we can actually make. The one disclaimer I will make right here is that when you try to do any of this with your juveniles, please just do it for them, because 99.9% of the time they don't care. They don't want to know. And sometimes the lack of knowledge as well, or what else is happening out there in the bigger world, would actually make them not to really even want to listen to what we're telling them. So when we come to talking about some of this younger age, our children, our grandchildren, our bigger concerns are, how do we make sure that they develop the right practices and don't develop bad practices? So I can tell you about my juveniles. They know that the credit card is probably the go-to thing, and it doesn't really matter as long as they can swipe it and actually get what they want, or whether they can use their Apple Pay or whatever, and they don't really care about it. It's like, I want it now, or better still, I wanted it yesterday. Why is it even delaying till now? Tomorrow is normally not the option that they will consider. So some of the things that we want to do when we're dealing with a lot of our teenagers, which again, I have to admit is a very tough task here. Don't take it by any chance that it's something we can just do, is to make sure that at least they understand some of the basics. And most of the time, we need to actually help do it for them. They will not do it for themselves. I'll tell you this. My daughter, when she was younger, and we always complained about bills, or me, I always talked about, listen, don't keep leaving on the lights because you're wasting the bills. Don't leave the water flowing because you're wasting the bills. And one day we were just driving back, and she was sitting in the back of the car very quietly, and an ad came on radio talking about, this debt consolidation and all this good stuff. And then she just sort of said, Daddy, I said, yes. Say, You know, you keep talking about the bills. Why don't you send your bills to that www.payyourbills.com? And I'm like, what the heck? What's that? And she told me that, well, they just said it on the radio that, you can send all your bills to she didn't even use the pay the bill initially, .com, and they will pay the bills for you. And I just thought to myself, this child just got um, fed with something, that all these things that we have been complaining as parents, there is a place there that you could just send those bills and they'll be paid. The ad didn't say that when you send them, there's a cost. It didn't say that you have to pay that money. And I said it that no, but when you pay it, you're gonna pay it. And she 100% told me, nope, it didn't say that. Absolutely, it didn't say that you're gonna pay it. So for us ourselves, having the knowledge is something that we need to actually understand some of the basics so that we can have this type of conversations with the kids that are going to be exposed to some of this rubbish out there. And so what we want to be able to do is develop some strategies that we can share with them, strategies like making sure they understand just cash flow. Money doesn't fall from the tree. Or better still, you cannot just, I mean, we don't do that nowadays a lot anyway, but in the past, everybody used to go to the ATM, put their card, and money comes out. The child will be in the car or will be with you. They always see the money come out, and they didn't really know where it comes from. So you cannot tell them that you cannot have money when all you need to do is go slot the card. So we need to just teach them some of the financial basics. And if we teach them some of the financial basics, then they will actually be able to start grasping some of them when they get a bit older. We need to focus on managing expenses and also start showing them talking to them about what debts are and debt management is, because if we wait, the cost of waiting could be very expensive later on. And so saying there that, oh, don't worry, they don't understand it at this point. Having those, our grandparents used to help us to have things like the piggy banks or just whatever. Those are beginnings of building a good skills for them that we need to start practicing. But just remember, helping do it for them, you may have to maybe set up some of these accounts and manage them in the interim. And then as they get a bit older, obviously some of them have got savings accounts. They probably have gone into college. They understand what the idea of a college loan is. Some of them actually leave home at that point, and they actually see that living at home, living in under a roof is not always free. It's something like paying rents. Few of them would actually own cars, and those cars probably would need some sort of a car payment. So they start becoming, they start actually becoming what I call very selfish. Self-centeredness is still there, which is one thing we have to deal with. But they become selfish because when you ask them for something, it's like, oh, I have to pay my this, I have to pay my this. Do you know how expensive it is to do this? And I'm like, huh? It costs money to do that, really? So now they're beginning to understand a bit about debt and debt management. But one of the things that many of the people and many of them forget at that point is that they don't think about retirement. Retire what? I'm only 20 and you want me to start talking about retirement when I'll be retiring at 60, or by that time they get to that age, you'll probably be 70 plus. So you might as well be speaking some foreign language to them, because retirement planning is like crazy. I mean, don't even talk about that. No retirement, but very simple conversations that you can have with them is that, did you know that if you're actually working, your company actually has like a pension plan or a 401k plan or a retirement plan? Do you know your company actually does something for you, or they encourage you to do that? And it's like, yeah, they do something. I don't know what it is. They just told me assigned. Yeah, they actually trying to do that, because if you don't start now, you're going to actually not be able to continue maintaining your lifestyle when you get to that age. And at that point, the idea of talking to them about an emergency fund, again, it's not going to sink, but that's when we actually need to start talking about these younger generations about an emergency fund. Why it's an emergency fund? Make sure that you have about 3 to 6 months of your savings, of your income in some sort of account that you're not just dipping your hands into every day. Why? We know that this younger generation are very, 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 very unlike us. They're gonna change jobs at least 20 times before they retire. And sometimes they quit one job just because they don't like it before they start looking for the next job. And during that transition, guess what? There's no income coming. So better keep something for the rainy days. Or some of them that have car loans and they have to pay rents, just let them know that when they move from one apartment to another, the new landlord may expect them to put down a down payment, which is more than what they can afford. So why you are telling them to have this emergency fund is to plan for those things, but also now that you got that nice car, you could have a problem with it and you may need to repair it. You need to have something. You don't want to start going and pulling the money into your from your credit card, if assuming you have it. So the idea of managing expenses, idea of even telling them, are you sure your income is enough? Do you think you should be able to get some, hey, this is they can rely on the gig economy this day. And many of them actually, they hate the structure of what I call the corporate world. So they want to be entrepreneurs or independent. So make sure that they're not just putting all their income eggs in one basket. And then at this point, they developed some of those bad spending habits when we were the ones that were supporting them, and they continue on those bad strategies until you see a lot of them are sinking into a lot of debt. And so the idea of how to really get into debt consolidation, debt elimination is something that we need to actually help them. And so financial concepts like cash flow, debt management become very important, and really, really trying at this age, because they're young, they're healthy, they're vibrant, they don't want to hear anything, they don't see any health issues as belonging to them, are things that we should be talking to them. Why? Because as I mentioned, even for the 18 to 20 or the juveniles, this idea of a high cost of living becomes very, very important. So I think some of you have seen this chart, and the idea behind it is that if somebody wanted to be able to generate $1 million when they turn 65, and you're able to actually get an interest rate of about 8%. I mean, that's theoretical, it's high, but yes, it's possible. If they're able to get an interest rate of about 8%, then that interest rate, how much money do they need to be saving at that interest rate to be able to generate about $1 million when they turn around 65? So the chart says that if you're 40 years away, so somebody who's 25 years old, it may just require them to be putting like under $300 or $10 a day to achieve that target of generating $1 million when they turn 65. However, if you wait and then you hit, the sixth step of the ladder or the sixth decade or 60, and you say, oh, mine, I'm 60 years, I'm 5 years away from requiring that. You need $13,000 a month to accumulate at that percent to hit $1 million. Okay, so you ask, how many of us can afford to actually get that amount? In fact, if anything, when we start getting to that age, we've probably priced ourselves out of jobs. And so nobody is going to want to pay you. And many people around this age end up being like looking for retirement, or they go, if they're bored, they go be like greeters at Walmart, and you never make $13,000. So showing something like this and just letting people know that make that actually starting early is good. And another way that I sort of flip this is to actually show this one where, again, some of you have seen it, where somebody says, okay, I have somebody that is just putting, you know, $10 a day or $3,600 in a month. And one of those people start at 25 and just saves that amount, save for just 7 years, and stops and say, I've put it there, I want to just keep it there to help me towards, a purchase or something when I start approaching my midlife or around the 49, 50. And then I have somebody like myself who said, okay, I need to do things. I need to enjoy a bit of my life. I need to have some fun. I'm going to just, take care of those things, and I'm going to start saving later on. And that person waits for those 7 years that the initial person started, and then they jumped in when they have hopefully, which is not a reality, but they hopefully saved a lot of those or paid a lot of those things if they're disciplined. And then they start saving the same $10 a month. We've assumed here that the rates that they're going to get are the same. And the question is, how long does that other person need to be contributing to make the same amount that the early contributor actually achieved by starting early? So in one situation, this first person here, the individual literally contributed $25,000 over 7 years, forgot about it, left it, assume it's still growing at an average of 8%. And then by the time they're like 48 years, that's about $128,000. The other person that started late, for them to actually match something or go past that individual's $128,000, they would have needed to contribute literally more than double. So just sharing some of these examples, the math, if they challenge it, let them work out the math for themselves. That begins to actually help them why understanding some of these basics and why procrastination can be very expensive. Just imagine if we actually ran these numbers and this person that actually contributed just kept going and ended up contributing just $25,000 more than what this person had contributed. Their total would, it'll be big number, big. I'm telling you there that it would be more than like $300,000 by the time that they get there. So just showing some of the things to them to just get them to be thinking, because they're going to challenge you on the math, they're going to challenge you on the concepts, become useful. And then when we start getting to the third ladder, this is again, some of the people here, they have gained a bit of a bit more income. They probably moved from rental to purchase if they choose to. They have some sort of savings accounts, and if they followed what their companies actually proposed and did for them, they'll probably have things like what the pension plans or 401ks or TSPs or whatever those savings plans that the company quote unquote forced them to be doing. But on the debt side, yes, if they chose to get a house, now a mortgage comes in plus all the taxes that come with it and maintenance. They still have their credit cards and their car loans. And now the ideas of debt management, the ideas of some of them may start having kids come into play. And for those who are forward thinking, they may have heard something about, start thinking about college funding. And at this point, some of them may actually start thinking, maybe I need to be putting aside something for retirement. And for those that start having like kids and having dependents, things like having some sort of life insurances start coming into their minds if they're lucky for somebody to have told them, or they may just have whatever their company gave them. So at this point, they're becoming more responsible. The idea of expense management is still a big issue for them. The idea of debt management is still a big issue for them. The idea of emergency fund starts becoming real for them. But they also now are beginning to think about a longer term savings, and they're beginning to think about protection because they start feeling vulnerable. And I can share this for myself. I remember um, around this age, I was in the UK, and before that time, I used to, drive and just drive, put my foot down as fast as the car could go. And then when the kids came, something miraculous happened. Either the car would not go as fast as, as I was flooring my foot, or I started realizing at that point that I have some responsibilities sitting in the back seat that that if something were to happen to me, these poor souls who did not make a choice to come here now would be left unprotected. So actually getting that idea of responsibility, start thinking about, do I have the right protection for myself? Start thinking more of my family rather than just the reckless me starts to come into play. And you talk to some of this in terms of the insurances, and unfortunately, right there, and most of these people are also um, looking at their overall cash flow, and things are tight. So when you talk to some of these concepts to them about healthcare and life protection, they conceptually buy it, but they're also looking at the dollar in their hand or whatever currency they are, and they're going for the cheapest option that you could get. And so um, one of the things that concepts that we really try to share with people is, again, I've shared this with a lot of us here, that when we are younger, with this idea of the X curve, and I'll encourage everyone to go study it. You go Google it, whatever it talks about. And the whole idea about it is that when you look at theoretically in terms of your earning power and in terms of growing your money, when we're younger, we don't have a lot of money. And hopefully over time, we're going to go through a lot of hurdles to build wealth. And then that wealth increases and increases. So, yes, there is this uh, side of the curve which talks about your income. And then there is the other one which talks about your responsibilities. Ironically, these two curves, they flip, because you have the most responsibilities when we're younger. And those ones include, like, as I said, your responsibilities here. We can just list some of them. The mortgages that we talked about, kids, student loans, credit cards, utilities. And I mean, you can keep going. All of these things, those are some of the reasons why even we're beginning to get some of our younger people jump from one job to the other, move from here to there, or some of them are even coming back home. And as they trying to build their wealth, they do not actually have those responsibilities are probably at the peak. If you wanna if you wanna try and find out, just go again on the internet and just find out how much it costs to bring up a kid. And you see that this is at the earlier stages of our lives. That's when those costs are coming. And then as we grow and put up, try to build wealth, we come across a lot of things that are trying to knock us down, what I call hurdles. You may find out that inflation, the interest rates, how you're saving your money, even how much your money grows. Those hurdles are there. And because we cannot actually put up a lot of money, we need to actually think about what if I'm not there, what will happen to that income that is providing for my family. So when you talk to people around this age and you talk to them about insurance and so on, they actually understand it conceptually because they're thinking about this income protection. However, now theoretically, we're hoping, and those of us who are grandparents or parents will realize that this responsibility curve never comes down to zero. Some of us, I usually tell my wife we're the sandwich generation. Sandwich basically is telling us that you got the upper half of the sandwich is like the parents and all the older ones that used us as their own pension or their retirement plans. They are crushing us from above. The kids, they keep crushing us from below because they still think they are responsibility, and all the juices are being squeezed out of us in the middle. And so this curve technically never comes down this low, but let's assume that it decreases because God willing, they'll grow up, they have their own kids, we have had a bit more money. But then if you actually end up that you have built some wealth and you built some savings, then what starts happening is that you get to your second part of your life and you start asking yourself, okay, how do I've accumulated some of this money? How do I make sure that most of it is not just taken away by taxes? How do I make sure that the market doesn't wipe all my savings that I've put in just when I need them the most? Or in those situations where the person is looking at passing wealth to the next generation, what is the best way that I transition those assets so that they basically can get into the next generation? And the other thing that I should add here is that we actually, I don't forget about the business parts that I'm talking for now, but we can add that. But one other area that is a big ask here is that many of us at this point, we are looking at it and saying to ourselves, how do I actually protect whatever wealth that I have accumulated? Because lack of estate planning and healthcare are the two big things that can wipe out all that you have saved. For those of us here in the United States, there is a savings program called the 401k, which is basically a tax deferred savings program. And I remember some guy who was trying to give us some sort of training on healthcare in retirement. And he says the average couple spend about 401k in their retirement. And then people thought, okay, is he saying that they spend their savings in retirement or what? He said, no. The average couple spends about $401,000 in healthcare in retirement. So he was saying 401k, just think about it as your retirement. And how do we make sure that when from a financial strategy planning, we can actually help somebody navigate through this? And there are lots of vehicles. I think we've shared them. I'm not going to talk about any of them right now, but we've shared a lot of the strategies that you can actually use them to build that wealth during the time that you're getting from young to older, to allow you to do that income protection should the worst happen to you now. And at the same time, that same vehicle will help you protect whatever you have accumulated in the later parts of your year so that you can take advantages of the tax situations. You can make sure you can guarantee that you don't lose your money, and it can also help you towards your estate planning. So we talked about some of those, and at this point, when we are in our 30s, 40s, early 40s, we need to start making sure that we put this in practice. Why? This is the point in time when our health situation is probably at its peak. And over time, the our health starts to reduce. And when our health starts decreasing, then there are some of these vehicles that we cannot actually uh, get access to. And then once we get into our 40s, obviously, you can see there that one of the biggest things that people start thinking about at that point is college planning. They start thinking about long-term care. They start hearing and thinking about, uh, you know, again, healthcare becomes a big item at this point, because some of us at this point, we start seeing how our parents are getting into that older age bracket. We start seeing the real, and we start feeling the real impact of what it actually costs from a financial as well as an emotional point to take care of them. And so we start reflecting. And some of us at this point, our kids hate us because they're seeing this old grandparent and they're wondering, like, am I going to be like them? And so they want to start moving away from us. But the reality is they are just beginning to see such things, and we are beginning to feel them. Unfortunately, um, if we don't take some prompt action when we still have like 25 years to start, or 25 to 30 years to start getting into that, needing those services, then they become too expensive for us, because the average returns that you're going to get in your savings or whatever you're trying to do become very critical. And you can see that the ideas of cash flow, debt management, emergency fund, building wealth and protection, all those now are things that you need to be thinking about. But at this age, when I talk to people, I tell them it's normally one of your not last, but this is really one of the peak points that you should really make some key decisions on some things. And some of for people who have, like in the US or in Canada, you realize that people who talk to you about life insurance will tell you, try and grab a permanent policy now, because if you don't, then uh, very soon you may start not being able to get it. Why? You know that when you start getting to a certain age, we start our health situation starts to decrease. And when the health situation starts to decrease, that's when you become at risk of not getting any of these vehicles that are actually out there and available for us to actually take care of. So in our 40s, I would say that's really 40s to mid 50s, if in fact to early 50s, that's when you want to take a lot of these decisions and put some of these vehicles in place, because you would see that in terms of your assets and debts, they don't really change a lot during that time, except that things like college loans and so on may be bigger than you were because the kids start getting into college and so on. But you also at this point, I think personally, this is when the healthcare impacts start to really hit home. Illnesses, disabilities, they start coming in. For the females, you do a couple of breast exams, or you do a couple of smear tests, and then the doctors start sending you to um, go see a specialist. Once they start sending you for second opinion, that should be warning signs. For those of us men, you've done a couple of PSA tests, or we start having A1C numbers start, growing the direction that we would have loved more our cash to grow than our medical readings. We start having weight gains, having a lot less energy to do things that you normally did. The knees start to tell the real story, even if we don't want to hear it. And at that point, you see that once you have done a few of these specialist exams, literally some of the companies, like the life insurance companies or some of these companies that would have been able to provide you services that you needed, they would literally not want to deal with you. Because when you look at it, there are three big buckets of these concerned areas that we may have to think about. One of them are the critical illnesses as well as the chronic illnesses. Our Queen Irene have talked a lot the last couple of weeks about some of these things, but we need to realize that once we start getting around this age level, both this critical as well as chronic illnesses start to prop up. And critical here, we're normally talking about those things that hit you like almost immediately. They're critical: heart attacks, cancers, organ transfers. They talk about like blindness, HIV/AIDS, some of these motor neuron diseases. They actually start um, to come up now, and the lifestyles that we have lived in the first 40 years, unfortunately, they start to really manifest themselves at this point. And then you get the chronic illnesses like diabetes and so on, which are there. Um, and those things, some of those you can manage them with medications, but then as we have learned through a lot of the education we've had on these platforms, health and wealth, they go hand in hand. And if you, you have $1 billion stuck on one corner of your room and you have a bad health sitting, that money means nothing. So we need to actually start thinking about taking care of our health long before this time. And for those of us who are even at this point in time, it's never too late to make some of those changes. Uh, I think some of you, or many of us here, know that not long ago, we as a family, we actually got shocked by a sudden passing of one of our brothers who was super, super healthy. But then, he was diagnosed with a critical illness that literally got him, just just took his life within a year, less than 10 months. And so there are I've come to, this is my thinking, that I've come to the conclusion that every one of us has some things that are down there in our system, and there are external factors that can trigger them. Things like stress, things like not being at the peace that our Queen Lerato talked about. They could actually push some of those up. And some of us, we need to just relook at the way that we're letting some of these external stressors affect our life, so that we just, trust it to the Almighty, but see what we can do on our path. One of the things that actually led me to, or inadvertently pushed me into, or exposed me to, during the time we were all struggling to help our brother, was it actually led me to somebody, one of our brothers from Malaysia, ended up introducing me to some natural products that, in as much as I've seen a lot of testimonials from the Oriental about what these products can do, we are trying to, again, educate as many of us, share with as many of us here that there are also these alternatives. I'm not saying that these are the only ones. It just happened that I got, I actually had easy access to these products, and they seem to be very organic. One of them is purely vegan, and what they're promising that they can actually provide for us is really tempting me to want to share with as many of us as possible, so that we can educate ourselves. So let me do this. And I told you guys I'm gonna take liberty to just go crazy here. I'm gonna, I hope, let me stop sharing or share my desktop. I don't know which one I'm doing, but if one of the co-moderators, can you tell me what, no, I think I have to stop this one first. Just bear with me. I told you that one of the benefits you're gonna get from my not being ready is that I'm gonna just be messing you around. So let's see whether I can go. Now it's telling me that I cannot, my window is not responding. So if it kicks me out, I'll be right back.
Okay. We understand.
Now Zoom is telling me now that it is not responding. So please bear with me. If you kicked out, I'll be right back because now this one is not me, it is Zoom.
Okay, Dr.
It did that to me at the start of the meeting. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw that you had some troubles there. Yeah.
Well, as we're waiting for Dr. John,
Mm-hmm.
we just want to appreciate him. This was really actually last minute. This is really when we already started the songs, and I think we started mindset. Then Dr. Brother Shaggy just wrote, major, sorry, I will not be able to make it. There was an emergency. So for him to step up and more intense than I expected, we really appreciate him.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
That's what we do on this platform, isn't it, Dr. P?
Yes, I appreciate all of you guys. The way you
Yes.
step in.
Yes.
Today we still had a meeting.
Yes.
And I bet hopefully everybody will agree with me that they are learning something.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, the financial literacy is very closely tied to the mindset, isn't it?
Yes.
You know. Can somebody mute somebody, please?
Yeah,
Because
I have to meet
It looks
Queen
like
Debbie.
it's us.
Oh, Queen Carla, you can unmute yourself. I wanted to meet Queen Debbie and I muted you as well.
yeah, it's about the
Oh,
mindset.
did he kick Dr. John completely out? It looks like.
Yeah, but I think he
Yes,
was gonna go and come back anyways.
He's going to come back in.
Yeah, Zoom kicked him out completely. So while we're waiting for him, I
Yeah,
was just saying that I want to appreciate the leaders on this platform.
yeah.
Sometimes we come, the meeting is running smoothly. We don't know the gymnastics they do at the back.
Yes,
They do it effortlessly.
yes.
And today is one of those days that
Mhm.
we had one presentation scheduled today.
Mhm.
An emergency happens,
Yes.
and you guys stepped in effortlessly, and everything has gone smoothly. I appreciate all of you, and I hope we're all learning. You want you have you it looks like he has to reboot his computer, so we can anyway discuss why he comes back, and he just gave me a signal that his whole computer needs to reboot. So for him to come and wrap up.
Okay,
If there's
sister.
anything you want to share on the mindset topic, or everyone you've just heard so far from the financial literacy, you can share now while we wait for Dr. John. Over to you, Queens in the house.
Queen Canla, do you want to go?
No, you can go.
Okay, well, I'm just looking at some of the things I'm jotting down. It says, I said, we have to be discerning and we have to use discretion. And the thing is, it, as I say all the time in my other webinars, it starts with us, right? We have to be the role models and we can't be telling our children, they don't believe in that anymore. You can't be telling them what to do and not be doing it yourself. Right? So it's all about our examples, how we govern our own self with our own financial literacy and our own financial life. And one point that Dr. John made was about the emergency funds. They should not be too accessible, but they also should not be too locked in because, emergency is just that. Emergency, you want to get to them as soon as you can. So you can't have them tied up in some of these instruments where it takes months and months to for the banks or whoever we have them, And also just keep showing, as he said, showing our children, or whoever we are in charge of, the numbers, because numbers don't lie. If you're making this, you can't be doing that, because that way madness lies, and you're going to lose the peace that Sister Lerato is talking about. Because if you're always in debt and in chaos, that's a miserable way to live. So I'm not saying anybody should live, really poverty or whatever, but do live cautiously and within your means. And that 5 to 6 months that Dr. John is talking about, I would think it should be even more than that, because what's going on in our countries now and how inaccessible our money is becoming, we can't even count on that. And it's probably also good to just have actual just cash. I know it's not earning you anything, but when you need groceries or when you need to pay bills or look after your children, you can't be fighting with the industries, whatever they are, whether it's the banks or whoever you insurance, you need to have access to that money because it becomes worse if you lose your house, if somebody gets sick and they can't get their medicines. So I'm thinking cash on hand is very important as well. So that's my contribution.
Wow. That was is it succinct or whatever?
Yeah, that's me. Succinct.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
word.
To the point,
Summary.
I'm telling you.
It's like you just
For dummies.
summarized it
For
Some
dummies.
dummies.
really
For
well.
dummies, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yes,
sorry, Sister Aisha.
hello.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Sister Aisha.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to appreciate you guys for everything. And also, I want to talk about what just happened before Dr. John proceed for his presentation. You know,
Okay.
at times, our mindset is just like our faith.
Yeah.
For me, that's
Yeah.
how I see it. Like, mindset is a set of belief that can shape you or make you sense about the world and yourself.
Yes.
It influences how you think, also feel and behave in any given situation.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, we just have to believe in on passive and
Mm-hmm.
enjoying the process, as we always said.
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't want to believe, let them just walk away and
Yeah.
let us be. Because before now, most of them have invested their money somewhere else, they have lost it. But this person here is still promising us, giving us hope that we have lost before now, but
Yeah.
still assuring us that everything is going to be all right. I see no reason why we cannot just believe in the
Mm-hmm.
process. For
Yeah.
me, for all that believe, let us
Yeah.
be. If you don't want to believe, I'm sorry to say this, that person can go to hell and let us be.
Well, that is also very succinct, Sister Aisha. I totally understand how you feel.
Oh, Queen
because-
Queen Aisha, you
And,
yes, thank you for
and
that.
yeah, it's so annoying when some person will just come in and try to force people to believe what you believe.
Yes. Yes.
So let
Correct.
us be. Yes, thank you
But
very
that
much.
You're
thank you,
right.
sister. Thank you, sister.
Mhm.
But that in itself is a mindset as well. There are people who want to dominate others. That is another kind of mindset, and we don't want any part of it here, and we don't ascribe to that. So yes, absolutely, I understand your frustration because it has really left a bad taste in my mouth as well, and we're not having any control about it because so much of it was still placed there and hanging in there, and I don't know how the chat works. Is that going to go with the webinar forever, or can it be cleaned up? That
Yeah,
is
I
anyway,
think with
the
with the
recording, the chat part of the recording, that will be part of it. I tried clearing it, deleting it. It did not let me.
the-
oh,
However, it's not going to be in our audio, so we'll
yes.
yes, to be honest.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yes. The video, I think I know that with the video, you can do what they call, I think you can cut out the
You can edit
section
it. You
or
can edit
you
it.
can edit in and do all of
Okay.
that. But with
Okay.
the chat, I mean, this is something, a function that one needs to also check. Why, if a chat is posted, how to remove it or delete it. But anyway, we gave a positive response,
Yes, we did.
which is a reflection of our mindset.
Absolutely.
And to add to what you said, Sister Aisha and our Queen Lerato, to the theme of the mindset, the power of stillness and peace.
Mm-hmm.
That by itself, that action by the two persons that were in, I remember, if my memory serves me, I think they impersonated the names as Sally Spede and Dr. Benny.
Yes,
It speaks more about their mindset
you're correct.
and the type of mindset that they are presenting. And guess what? They want to spread it to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think, why did they choose to come to our platform? Why not stay where you're comfortable in your comfort zone? But you decide, you made a choice
Mm-hmm.
to get to someone else because you also want to make sure that they do not have that peace. But guess what? It didn't work.
No, I didn't.
They failed because
Yes.
all of us are still here. and they are back where they are, yet with that mindset. They have not learned anything.
No, they haven't.
And so, how are they even going to move forward in any other aspect of your life where you cannot come to the terms of having that stillness and that peace in you?
Yes, yes. You ask a good question, Queen Tanda, because if you can't control even your own life, how on earth are you so presumptuous to want to inflict your warped whatever you feel on others? Why do people expend so much energy trying to, trying to force their warped ideas on other people when it's clear that their life is in chaos, as Sister Lerato said? Because on a beautiful day like this, why would you intentionally try to, do they think we don't know what's going on with our business? Why is it necessary to come with a negative attitude? Why?
Correct. And just to bring out one point, can you all believe that all the best they could do was to post the same message 21 times?
Yes, it's very sad.
It's they are losers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Our CEO, Mr. Ash, tells us that we have those that are losers. So they are the losers. We are the winners, and we will be here.
Yes. Yes.
We have made the choice, and we will be here. We are not going anywhere.
Absolutely. So yes.
Okay, let's it looks like Dr. John is
Dr.
still
John
not is not in yet. Okay.
no, no. So
Well, then I think if is there any other comment in the chat regarding either the mindset or the financial awareness concepts that
please let me just read something that Queen Debbie has just put here. She says that, what did she say? Let me see if I can see the chat. Something
okay.
about, she said something about we are empowering them by acknowledging their presence or some such thing. Yeah. I hate, look, yeah, that's what she says. Yes.
Okay.
We are empowering that individual by acknowledging their presence. Well, first of all, it's not just one set of persons, it's different numbers of people. And I think we're just going over how we're reacting to that. But yes, we don't want to spend a lot of time out. Okay. Thank you, Queen Debbie.
Yeah, I think we are waiting for Dr. John to be able
Right.
to.
So Dr. John just is have to do something else. For some reason, his Zoom is dead on his own computer.
Okay.
So he's going to email the slide to himself so he can use my laptop. So just bear with him.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Queen. Yes. Yeah, because, that is always a very timely presentation. Everybody, there's so much things that he can, so many directions he can go with that. And it's all needed because, as he said, about the sandwich generation, which means we're being squeezed from the top and squeezed from the bottom, as he says, because we have aging parents and children who still need us. And so we have to tread carefully because money is finite. It seems as if no matter how much you have to be cautious how you use it. And as I was saying, you set the example and let your young people know what you're doing so that they can have the same kind of attitude towards money. As I said earlier, it's a mindset.
Yeah.
Queen Candler, where are you?
Yes, I'm here. I'm right
Okay.
here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and it takes time for you to build it.
Yes, it does.
It will not come in one day. It will not happen in 1 month.
Yeah.
It takes time.
It does. And
It's a
intentionality.
long-term.
And intentionality, yes.
Yes.
Again, yeah.
It takes time.
It does.
Right, we're almost there.
Okay.
Thanks for your patience. Technical difficulties. Laptop just kind of pack up with Zoom. I don't know why.
Oh, it's these things we have. They are not perfect, just like we are not. They will fail us sometimes.
Thanks, Dr. D. For doing this. I'm going
Yeah.
to change my background.
Let me change my background. Dr. Derek is fast. Hmm.
Okay. You're muted, Dr. Pat. I see you're trying to say something. Oh, okay.
Oh, is Dr. John back?
Yes, it looks like he's ready now.
We're trying to switch. So now, listen, in everything, give thanks. Let peace reign, okay?
Amen.
Amen.
Oh, why not all connect?
Oh, I mean, we are waiting for it.
So my Zoom started spinning, and then
Uh-huh.
it told me that Zoom has developed an error.
Oh.
It asked me to wait,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, in the mindset of patience and peace, let me wait. I waited. Then it kept spinning, and then after a while, it told me that there was an error. I should report it to Zoom.
Oh dear.
I shut down. I went and rebooted my computer. Then I launched.
You came back again.
I launched, and then instead of letting me go into the meeting, he actually asked me whether I wanted to start the meeting. So I clicked start. I came in, say, "You want to stay as co-host?" I say yes, and I could hear all of you talking, but I don't
Yes.
think anybody was seeing me.
Yes, we weren't.
No, we
And
were
then
not.
after a while, it spun and then told me the same error. So I shut down my computer again. But here we are. Now I have to rely on some expertise to find out what I have on my on the screen. Please don't start going spinning again.
Yes.
Okay. So
Well, we see you in the background, right? That's what we see. So yeah.
yeah, so now I'm not sharing anything.
Right.
So what I was, oh, you downloaded 2 out of 3. That's fine.
No, go back to it.
That's
Go
all right.
back.
That's all right. Okay. So what I was just saying here was that as part of rather the unfortunate experience that we had with one of with our brother that passed, we ended up where, and the reason I was talking about this is I was still on that journey, and we're looking at the 50-year-old plus. And I'm not saying that I wanted to only start there, but I was just recognizing that throughout our journey, either in deep dive, I have to really kudos to that group, because there's been a lot of I'll almost say preaching on the power of health and the power of using some of the natural things that God gave us on this earth. And
Yes.
I am somebody that worked in pharma for 20 years, and I loved my job. I loved the chemicals we're producing. I believed in a lot of them. And most of these things are very powerful when it comes to acute situations. So for people who are like anti-medications, I want to say a lot of the pharmaceuticals are very important when we're dealing with acute situations, because they're typically concentrated. They are meant to go in there and help you. And that's why you see most of the time a doctor would make you a prescription for a duration of time. But then when it starts becoming, and we start dealing with some of those chronic issues, or we start looking at prevention, some of these products you don't see them given. And even if you have some of the products like insulin and those type of things they give for chronic, if you ever bother reading the side effects of them, it's like okay, it's going to kill you. It's just not going to kill you as fast as it's killing the cells. But and so when I got exposed to one of these products, and ironically, it was shared with me by one of the members of our um, Singapore team, and they said this is something that we're using in our area. It seems to be working. And then I sort of tried to rush it to my brother, and unfortunately, it got the day before he actually went into hospital and didn't come out. And what I've spent the last couple of days actually looking at them, and I just thought when Dr. Pat said, can I jump in and say something? And then I started remembering that we're talking about finance, but finance goes with health. And I said, you know what? There are a few of us that have shared some of this information too. I did actually send a couple of the brochures to Sister Irene when she did a presentation. And then I just said, okay, if I have to talk to you, to us here, I'm going to just let everybody know that in addition to stuff that is out there, there are some of these ones that if any of you guys want to know more about it, I don't know a lot about it. I'm beginning to learn, and I want to see how it could be applicable or useful to our own people. And so I wanted to pause here and just share some brochures that I've read about this stuff, and I want you people to just know. And if people are interested in finding more, we can talk about, and I can connect you with some people. So it's part of that education. And when I just wanted to go in there, good old Zoom decided that I was no good. Anyway, so the companies that I actually saw these products, which again were shared to me by our friends in Malaysia, is it's a Japanese company, and they have been in the healthcare the healthcare arena for over 40 years. And what I liked about them is that they're trying to look at it more like a natural product rather than a lot of these acute products. So they call their products superfoods. And I'm not going to do like massive, what do I use to open this now? Massive presentations. I just want to go in there and I just, hang on, let me see. I'm going to just open my screen, and then I'm going to just share my desktop and just browse through so you see what I'm beginning to see. And then I just want people to be aware. Okay, now let me see if I can share my desktop, my root desktop here. Now, why is this sharing? Oh boy. Okay, let me close let me go to more, and I share. I'll share the screen. Let it just come out, share my desktop, and I'll jump back and forth. And sorry for that. You can see that I have not prepared. So one of the things that I attended at a webinar, and the guy was presenting, I decided to just snip some of the screenshots. Yeah. So, and I just, the whole idea was that when they showed this idea that, like when you see kids are born, the stem cells that they have, they like a lot. That's why you can see kids heal very easily and all that stuff. And when we grow older, by the time that we start getting to our 50s and so on, the stem cells production gets very low. And you see a lot of our rich people go and do stem cell therapy to rejuvenate themselves. And I came out, this company was showing one of these products, which they say it's a natural, like a superfood that would actually help in stem cell therapy, but at a fraction of the cost of stem cell therapy. And what I just want to come out and say is that when I read these products, that this one will help generate the organs, regenerate or trigger our bone marrow to produce stem cells that can help with all these different organs in the body, the heart, the blood vessels, like reducing hypertension, even reducing risks of stroke, reducing the risk of diabetes, you can see that many of them are like prevention. So they're calling it a superfood. It became, I sort of looked at it and I'm like, wow, this is something that we need to start looking at, um, using some of these as superfoods. And then the other one that they talked about, again, I'm gonna it actually this is the one that attracted me to my brother that passed, because they literally, these are Japanese patents on this product: anti-tumor, anti-cancer, immune activating, prevent and cure the infections of SARS. So for those of you who may or may not be aware, COVID-19 is a SARS, and then suppression of growth of tumor and reduce side effects of anti-cancer drugs, and then a toxic reducer. And they went ahead and literally say that the reason they're putting this is because many of us have dirty intestines, and so that's why, occasional cleansing is a good thing for us to do. And that if our intestines, which are like the main, that's really most of the diseases that get into our system go in through that. When you're easily tired and unfocused, irregular bowel movements, premature aging, and all these skin irritations, difficulties losing weight, poor health conditions, it's normally because our gut health is not good. And so I saw this and I wanted to share it with people that are in the field, or even some of us to take them as why not some sort of things that we can help protect ourselves. And then the third one, which again, if you remember, like our sister Irene was talking, there are a lot of these illnesses that are like taboos within our communities. And when you get people that have either brain, eye, or special needs problem, especially with special needs, I was kind of shocked to find out how many people have either kids with autism or kids with ADHD. And I saw something that, again, it has like 5 patterns. One of them is this neurogenesis. I when I when I looked at something like this chart: macular degeneration, autism, Parkinson diseases, sleep disorders, um, glaucoma, epilepsy. I kept saying, can one product actually produce all these effects? And I said, you know what? I don't know, but this is something which we in our community, for people who want to learn, since the company is putting this out as natural products. This particular one is 100% vegan. The other ones have other side products that like they have some marine products in there. So somebody who is probably 100% vegan may not necessarily want to look at this one. But when I saw that these are some things that are out there, I started telling myself, let me go and find out a bit about this. Um, why not use some of them, because they are supplements for myself, and if I get benefits, why not? So three areas that I am really targeting with our community. I know that there's the diabetes. I know that we have a lot of children with this developmental learning or disabilities. We know that there are a lot of people within our communities with prostate or cancers, as well as breast cancers. And I know also that uh, within our communities, there are people that may have some of these other ailments that um, the system probably will not necessarily take care of. And so it tempted me to want to start looking at it. And I'm looking at it again from the point of health and wealth combined. And if that part of the education is something we can do, then for me, it becomes a useful and necessary part of the whole journey. Um, the last thing that I was gonna just talk about as we're going to going through that journey was talking about when we get to um, 60 plus. Now we have worked, we're getting to retirement, or we are retired. Some of us have got nest eggs that we have built, and some of the biggest concerns we have is how do I make sure that whatever I've accumulated will last for the time I'm retired? Or how do I make sure that whatever I have left over or what I've saved, um, when I have managed it through my lifespan, there is enough that will go through to the next generation. We know, as many of us have actually looked at it, that somebody, we used to actually run it, and we had a lot of people who came and talked to us on different forums about estate planning, and they talked about things like annuities or some of this type of wealth transfer ideas that, depending on what country you are located, you should be able to study. So when we get towards that time, one of the things that you want to not happen to you is, one, run out of money. When you run out of money, I don't want to be 90 years old, and I'm glad that God gave me that long life, and then I have to go to Walmart and be sitting on a wheelchair and saying and looking at people's receipts. I mean, if I choose to do that because I'm bored staying at home, it's a different situation. But if I have to go there because I need to be able to just buy some food for myself, that is a problem. So we need to be able to, one, um, set things up for ourselves, because we are this sandwich generation, and our best wish is let our kids be independent when they get to when they get to the age that they are running after their own kids, and not necessarily having that top part of the sandwich, which is us squeezing them down. So we need to actually break out that sandwich and free ourselves. Don't get all the juices be squeezed out, and then let the kids also have some freedom. Um, Even the Bible says there that, a wise man leaves an inheritance to the grandchildren, not to the children, please. We have helped them, but how do we then pass something to the grandchildren? And that is what, when we get to those 60 plus years, yes, there are strategies that people can use in order to help those. And again, some of those things, I know somebody like Queen Kanla knows about some of those strategies, and people, you want to talk to her, she can talk. I mean, I've been helping people about with some, and I know people who probably will be able to help people in other countries. So that's what, when, even though it was a last minute jump in, um, I thought, with the mindset that was shared today, there is nothing more than just coming in and saying there that no matter what part of your life you are, you can have peace, you can have the happiness, because it's a decision that we make. It's a decision. You will not be able to impact those external and environmental impact factors that are going to be dumped on your life, but what you do about them is whether you take your lemon and make a lemonade out of it, or you actually just consider it to be a lemon. So I want to thank you for your patience. I want to thank you for actually taking this time to be to really exercise the mindset that we did. And I want to pass it back to our moderator, Queen Kanla.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that wonderful, I mean, informative information. Yes. And I know I have also been learning about it. It is very, very insightful. It is very, very informative. And Dr. John, I will say, please let nobody say, oh, because like you said, you don't want to wait until you're getting old. But if you have older friends, siblings around you, you can still spread the word, and you can still redirect or connect someone who may need that information, because yes, it is something that we all need to educate ourselves and learn more. For us, the women, Do you want to stay young and beautiful? It begins with that inner health, right? Because if you're sick, how are we going to enjoy our business? How are we going to enjoy the healthy lifestyle when the apple starts falling? So this is one of those that is out of the box, something new, which presents an opportunity for us to be aware so that when we need it, you know where to go look for it. So thank you, Dr. John. Thank you. Thank you as always. We appreciate that.
Amen. Amen.
Yes. So at this time, due to the delay, the technical issues we had, I know we have like actually gone over the time when normally we will be rounding up, but thank you all again for your patience. Thank you all for your understanding. And at this time, we want to transition to the next webinar uh, agenda, which is normally the Q&A. I know we had already incorporated it while we were having the technical issues, but at this time, if we do have any new questions or any new comments, then we will go into that. But other than that, uh, Dr. D, I don't know if Dr. D is available to say a word or two with regards to the update. As for my end, at this time, we do not have any update. But Dr. D, if you would like to say a word or two before we get into further Q&D, if we do have any at this time. Yes, Dr. Derek.
For that also. All right, wonderful. Oh, I have to put on this also. Okay, wonderful. Now we're cooking with gas. Hold on.
Dr. Derek.
All right. Hi, me there. Oh, hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Had a hallelujah day today.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. I thank you all very much. Peace, blessings, and enough, holy, plenty, a lot of love to all our queens. Queen Yvonne and Queen Kanla and Queen Lerato and Queen Aisha and Queen Dr. Lulu and all our kings. King Dr. John and King um, oh, not much king about him, man. King Herald and King um, Richardson and King, but we run out of king, man. Not much king in that place, man. What a sin thing. Queen Lily Lane, how you doing? Banana bread still tastes nice. Oh my goodness. The updates. If you want banana bread, check with Queen Lily Lane. Okay? If you want banana bread, check with Queen Lily Lane. She is the specialist. They said I have to give updates. That's what I heard. So I'm giving one update. One update so far is if you want banana bread and the Jamaican type too. The Jamaican type banana bread. If you want the recipe, and the ingredients and how to do it, just check with Queen Lily Lane. Awesome, 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 awesome. I tell you. All right. Queen Debbie going to pass your era soon. So look out for her. And Queen Jacqueline Warner soon. So check them out. Check them out. All right. Anyway, just be patient. Just be patient. All right. We are winding up things, and it soon let go. So just let us be patient. Most of the issues with the SEC is moving along and moving along and moving along. Still, we have to. Well, we don't have to, but Ash Mufari, as he said, he's waiting patiently for the SEC to finish the ruling, because one of the first things that he wants to do is to compensate all the people, all the persons that need to get from that 52 million. 52 million. Oh my goodness. And yeah, and he said that 20 million is in commissions for us. Well, for those of us who actually did a withdraw, right? 20 million. Oh my goodness. I tell you, God not sleeping. God is not sleeping. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, God is not sleeping. All right? Because that would be a terrible blow. 52 million. Oh my goodness. Lily Lane would be crying, Lily Lynn, living eye water. So, um, thank the Lord that that didn't happen. So just let us be patient. Let us be patient. In just be patient. All right. If you want to know how to be patient, just check Doctor Patient. I don't think Dr. John will mind. So check Dr. Patient, and you will get a lot of patient. All right. She has the remedy, because I went and stole some. It was in the basement. So I'm telling you where it is. All right. So if you pass by Dr. Patient's house, just check the basement. It's right in there. A whole lot of patients. Basement full of patients. So um, check out some. Take out some if you go there. All right. And let us be patient, because things soon will happen. Don't know how soon. Soon is relative. All right. But the thing of the matter is that you need to be patient. Now, you have to remember that quitters never win and winners never quit. So don't quit. Let us be patient. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And remember the third update. Remember the banana bread. Queen Lily Lane. Thank you very much. Take care.
Dr. D, it's always wonderful to hear your voice. Thank you. Thank you for the update. Queen Lily Lane, some of us will be reaching out and in consultation for that banana bread, because now I'm all salivating, but I need to reach out to know, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So thank you, Dr. Derek. Then that leads us to the Q&D. At this time, our Queen First Lady, Dr. Benny, is not with us, but Queen Aisha is also here with us, with the team, and Queen Yvonne also with us in the chat. So since I'm moderating and part of the team, I will pass it over to Queen Aisha and Queen Yvonne. If we have any comments or further update, Q&D in the chat. If not, then we simply move to the next webinar agenda item.
I'm not sure if Queen
Okay.
Aisha are you still here, Queen
Okay.
Aisha? I was just
Yes,
about to
I'm
say
here.
that. There's nothing in
I'm
the
here.
chats. There's nothing in the chats.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you very much, Mr. Yvonne.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mr. Kamla. Please, if you have any question, you can go ahead and raise up your hand so that we can take it from there. Or you can also go to the chat and drop your question. Thank you.
Okay. I think while we are waiting, but with the understanding that we had already done a lot more of the Q&D while we had the technical issues. So Queen Aisha, if any comes up, then let us know. Queen Yvonne, do let us know.
Okay.
Yes, but other than
Now,
that, while we prepare, I think we may go now to our closing the webinar. But while we prepare for Dr. Derek to close us with our signature tune, at this moment, I will begin word of gratitude and appreciation to our family watching on YouTube. Thank you once again. If you joined us after we had extended the welcome greetings, welcome and thank you for staying with us. And we apologize for the technical issues and what happened, but we are stronger together because we've been patient and we are here till the end. So thank you, thank you. And we want to say we look forward to seeing you again throughout the week when you do attend the different webinars, or if you'll be coming back on Sunday to join us again with the Dream Team. And please, our sister Lerato has given us our mindset word to take with us: the power to be still, or the power of stillness and peace. Let us exemplify that throughout the week. And I'm sure many of us will have a lot to say about it by the time it comes to the end of the week. So for our different webinars that we do have, on Mondays, we do have the Mindset Miriam on Monday. Please join when you can. On Tuesday and Thursdays, we do have Deep Dive, Globally Changing Life with King Dr. Derek and the team. On Tuesdays, we do the cybersecurity with none other than First Lady, Dr. Benny. And on Thursdays, we do a brilliant mindset as well as health and wellness. And Queen JW does that, and Dr. Derek as well. So please join when you can. On Wednesdays, it's Julie
Empowerment.
Pierre, but
Yes.
for now, it's not running because she's out. And while we are not having it, let us continue to put her in prayers with daughter Chloe, as well as all other family on Perseverance that are sick out at home. We know a few, but we continue to put each and every one of them in our prayers, praying for a quick recovery. On same Thursday, in the morning, I think we have All Passion, Singapore, Malaysia as well. So if you can, do well to join. And then we have also another webinar that is headed by our twin sisters, Yvonne. The recorded version, Mondays to Thursdays. And then we have the Friday as well, which is live. If you are able to join, please do well to join. And then now we move to Sunday, and we look forward to seeing you when it comes to that. So let us use that opportunity and stay informed. Let us use that opportunity to stay grounded in our business while we wait. So thank you, everyone. And for those that are able to join us in the Zoom at this time, please do well to join us over here as we round up for the webinar session for today. Thank you. We love you and see you.
Bye, everyone.
Yes.
bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Derek, over to you with our closing signature tune.
Let me stop the